Talks just like, all right, whatever, go. Gives her the power, and she just busts out the building. And Anna's just like, no, Corset, you got to stop breaking windows. Come back. And then it's like when she ends up going to or whatever, Corset just like completely got her ass kicked, whatever. They go back to the restaurant, and then Corset gives a breakdown of what happened.
And little animation.
Yes, it's like old school like cartoon animation you would see like back in like the 50s or something, explaining step by step of what happened. And she's like, and then I realized there was too many and there was no hope. Welcome to AniMan Plus, episode 52. Hopefully you're having a phenomenal day today, whatever day you're watching or listening to this podcast. No Josh in studio this week. Josh is taking a break this week. All good. No harm, no foul. But I do have Zach here. Zach, buddy, how you feeling this wonderful Thursday?
Doing good. Can't complain.
I had to fact check in my head real quick, make sure that it was Thursday. I kind of forgot for some reason already. That's what happens, but it is what it is. So we got some good stuff to talk about for this episode because the first batch of fall anime is here. We got a few more shows that are coming out here soon. Demon Slayer kicks off on Sunday, I believe, is when it is. And there are, I think, one or two others that we kind of have our eye on. Yeah,
and actually, for anyone who hasn't seen it yet, on Crunchyroll, and I'm pretty sure Funimation as well, as of this past Saturday, Mugen Train's now on there.
I did see that. I kind of wanted to maybe rewatch it just for the fun of it. I did, I thought that was pretty dope. I did see that one of the series that I kind of wanted to check out, Tesla Note, is Funimation only. So
okay,
I don't know if I'm gonna end up watching that one. We'll see. I think I know one person with a Funimation account, so I may hit them up. But we have multiple shows here to kind of give our thoughts on. Multiple first episodes with like Digimon Ghost Game, Muv Luv Alternative, Talk About Destiny, Platinum End, and then the first episode of season 2 of 86. Looking forward to that. With Josh here, no One Piece this week, of course, and we also have the finale for Eden's Zero, episode 25.
But you know what we do have?
What's that?
The continued story of Yashahime.
Did you watch that?
Yeah, I did.
I forgot that.
I told you I was going to do at least the first 3 episodes and see where this goes.
I forgot that came out. I'm going to be completely honest. So,
I mean, a lot of people did because on Crunchyroll, at least first season, it stayed above Dragon Quest Dai. This time, it fell under Dai real quick.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, we got Yashahime for this episode then. I completely forgot about Yashahime. But if you could, go follow us on Twitter at AniMan Podcast. We greatly appreciate that. So you can also check out our other podcasts like Lighthearted Gamers, Terrible Football Show, and a new one that the first episode still has not come out yet. It'll probably be out on Friday, talking about movies and stuff. First episode was for Venom, Let There Be Carnage. I wanted to get it out Wednesday, but I had stuff come up and I just haven't got it out yet. So look forward to talking about movies and stuff. That's going to be a good time. And lastly, if you want to support us further, Patreon's a great way to do so. And hey, shout out to Andy, our tier 1 patron. Thank you, Andy. I appreciate it.
Oh, we actually have a patron again?
Yeah. Shout out, Andy. Thank you. Appreciate you, tier 1 patron. Patreon is a great way to support us. But you can always just be a friend, tell a friend that you're listening to the show, and we can call it good there. I guess we can go ahead and get into it. Before we do, though, actually, Zach, you got anything you want to air out? Anything we want to talk about? Feeling good?
I mean, I do got stuff to air out, but it's very specifically for shows.
That's fair. That's fair. I did see that the Dragon Quest composer did pass away, unfortunately. I don't remember their age. It's my fault. I'm a great host of the show. For some reason, the age of 90 is sticking out to me. I could be wrong on that.
Would not be surprised by that.
Yep. So, quick moment of silence. Press the button.
This is what I've done most of the time, but sure,
Press
whatever.
The button.
Cool. Hello, everyone. This is Alex's
Press the button.
Respect button.
Thank you. Moment of silence now. Moment's passed. You don't appreciate that unless you're watching on YouTube. YouTube.com/Sparky3. Give us a like.
And even then, you still may not appreciate it, and I'm with you.
Fuck you. No. Everyone appreciates that. Okay. I've heard nothing but glowing reviews about those.
From what? Your dogs?
No. We have listeners that appreciate that. Throw up the sorry right now.
Who the heck appreciates that?
I know Jared does.
Jared, I love you, buddy, but...
Come on, man. Don't be like that. All right. So we'll kick things off with some series that didn't necessarily stick with me. I watched a couple of these. I will first address Boruto 218. I actually didn't watch the full episode.
Was the episode Big Rip? Because I started seeing animated versions of
yeah, it was. Yeah,
Big Rip.
Yeah, it's Big Rip time. I didn't actually watch the full episode. I was busy at the time when I was set down to watch it, so I literally just skipped to the Big Rip part. I mean, I already knew everything obviously that happened in the episode. You know, Sasuke gets a giant fucking nerf. Very brutal little shot though. I mean, it was brutal in the manga, but just seeing it in the anime of just getting a kunai straight in your eye and just super zoomed in on it, I'm like, damn, that's fucking terrible. But big nerf on Sasuke for that. But this was the Big Rip episode. You know, a little fun fact for you. Whenever we did the top deaths in anime manga, we did reference this death. It's just like, well, you'll see it when you see it. If you know, it'll come. Kurama, unfortunately, has passed. You do learn in this episode that the Baron Mode drained his life force, not Naruto's. And it was that whole ending segment of them two, like what Naruto thought was both them kind of saying their goodbye. And then, you know, Kurama had to point out, nah, it's just me, dog. And then Kurama's like, hey, don't look at me with those eyes. You're annoying. But I will say there was a couple shots that I absolutely loved. The first shot was when Naruto was still under the impression that they were both going to die, and he kind of like turns around to Kurama and he's talking to him, whatever. You know, Kurama's looking at him, and in Kurama's vision, it cycles through the different ages of Naruto. So it starts off as just a kid Naruto, not baby, but kid Naruto. Then it goes to the the season 1 Naruto, the Shippuden Naruto, the last version of Naruto, and then the Hokage version. And when it comes back to the Hokage, it's a shot of Kurama's eye, and you see Naruto's reflection in his eye looking at him. Beautiful little animation shot there. That was absolutely perfect. And then that's when Kurama was just like, why don't we, reminisce a little bit? They just kind of talking, shooting the shit, whatever. And that's when Kurama lays it on him. And dude, it's an episode that make a grown man cry. Let me tell you. As Diaz said, oh shocker, I fucking cried. That's basically how this episode was. And they changed out the ending video, the ending visuals, where it's just like Naruto through history of him using Kurama. I mean, you got to see.
Gotcha.
Yeah, you got to see the opening bit of where Kurama attacks the village. From the first episode. And then you just get to see him like the first time he kind of uses it in season 1. You get to see him like in the pain fight when they bump fists. I mean, it just goes through time of them fighting together, fighting each other, whatever the case is. Very emotional episode. Very, very well done. And what's going to come next for Boruto in the anime? I don't fucking know. We'll see. Because I saw a viewer chart for Boruto that I thought was pretty funny and accurate.
Yeah.
Where it's just like episode 1 viewer counts like here, and it's like steadily kind of declining because I mean like it fucking declined. The first 10 episodes I thought were really good, and then it just kind of kept going down, and it's like Boruto viewership's like this, and it's like episodes 217 and 218, it's like whoop, it just shoots up. It's probably going to come back down. It just depends.
More than likely. I mean, I figured it was going to be high for this point because we even referenced it, and I don't keep up with Boruto at all.
Yeah.
So yeah, going to be super sad for people when they continue watching and then it doesn't continue.
Bingo. And big, just this one episode, man, you get a double nerf to like the 2 strongest shinobi in the world. So yeah, we'll see what happens from here, boys. Because I'll even say we'll see what happens from here, because obviously we don't know where the anime is going to go from here. And even in the manga, I mean, we're kind of in the same state. They're just a couple of nerfed guys now, and we're still kind of doing like a build up in the manga. Because I mean, even the manga, this was like, it's monthly, so that happened probably. It
wasn't that long ago.
Yeah, it really wasn't.
Because honestly, when I started seeing videos that were saying like goodbye Naruto and stuff, and I was like, we've already gone to that. I was like, that didn't even happen in the manga that long ago.
Yeah,
it was like at the beginning of this year.
Yeah, I mean it was probably like 6 or 7 months ago. So who knows where the anime is going to go from here. I mean, I know the next episode is still canon because it's them trying to figure out how to get back home. Since, their Uber ride that is Sasuke's eye is now nerfed and destroyed. So he can't take them home. So they're trying to figure that out. And then after that, it's just like, I guess we're going back to anime canon, filler, whatever you want to call it. So, I don't know.
And then doesn't it, like in the very first episodes and pages of manga, reference that both Naruto and Sasuke are dead?
Maybe. In the very first like shot of the manga and the anime where you see like an adult Boruto, an adult Kawaki, and destroyed Hidden Leaf Village, and they're fighting whatever. Kawaki makes the reference, I'm going to send you to the same place that I sent to Okage, so that makes that reference. And plus with what Boruto is, kind of like what he's wearing, we've already seen in the anime and the manga, he's already got Sasuke's headband. It's already been given to him. But in that shot, like adult Boruto puts on his headband. It seems like he's wearing Sasuke's cloak, and if I remember correctly, he even had Sasuke's sword. So that's why I would probably assume they're both dead at this point.
I'm pretty sure people already referenced it, but just me and seeing that image is Naruto watching his son slowly become an edgelord.
Basically. Basically. But I mean, it was a good episode. If you haven't watched episodes 217 and 218 of Boruto, definitely should go give it a watch. This is when Boruto's at its finest. Now I'll jump over and I'll talk about these two first episodes real quick, because they didn't really horribly stick out to me where I have like a bunch of notes to really dive into it. Digimon Ghost Game, I'll start there, episode 1.
Before you even start, because I watched the trailer for that.
Okay.
Is it just a digital, or not? I guess I shouldn't say digital, but a spooky Mega Man?
Accurate, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yep. So with Digimon Ghost Game, this is their like first take on like the horror genre. That's even how it's built. That's how it's described, as this is their first time really kind of touching into that aspect. And it was entertaining, and it's one of those things that I wasn't completely turned off by this, or even Muv Luv Alternative. I'll give them both the second episode shot, but it's like it just didn't horribly grasp me and stick with me like, let's say, Platinum Ended, that I'll talk about here in a little bit. Watched that earlier today, loved it. But with Digimon Ghost Game, with it being like, how like in this first episode, how they kind of take on like the horror genre is like, there's like this myth, whatever, that there is a sewn lip man that come and takes your life or whatever, takes your time away. They're referencing Clockmon. That's who it is. So Clockmon is a hologram. And it's like you go into this room, whatever, and it's like you ask a question, it's like, what time is it or something? Then he repeats like, what time is it? And you hear like like your phone go off, and all of a sudden the time's freaking the fuck out, like just completely going super quickly. And then he'll basically come and literally suck your life out. He doesn't kill you. He just puts you to the point where your entire time of your life is gone, and you're just completely old and just bedridden, basically. And he does that to like 3 or 4 different people in this episode before, he does get kind of shafted a little bit by our pro tags, Digimon Gamamon, of course. But that while that aspect was entertaining, the whole like horror aspect that he's.
I gotta ask a question. So you say it's Clockmon. Is he just a giant clock?
I mean, Clockmon was like a season 1 Digimon, so I guarantee you've seen him.
Oh.
He's like the giant clock. The clock has like a face and stuff, and there's like almost like a puppet scarecrow sticking out of the top, and they're carrying a hammer.
Okay.
He's like a season 1 Mon. You've seen him. Yeah.
I didn't know, because all I could picture was some weird time wizard with a beard going, ooh, I'm gonna steal your time.
No, I guarantee you've seen Clockmon. He is a season 1 Mon. He's a champion level Digimon from season 1. But I mean, while that aspect was kind of entertaining, I mean, it was, basically the Digimon Stone Cold, like murdering people, almost basically murdering them. There's kind of like a tease of like where our pro tags, his name's Hiro, where Hiro's father is. Because it kind of shows where he went into like Hero's, his father's office, and after something happened, his father's gone. You see like a watch on the ground. The watch is the Digivice, but Hiro doesn't know that, and he's like, "Where's my dad? His dad has vanished." And then when he gets the Digivice later, his dad just kind of appears before him as a hologram. He's like, "Hey man, this is the digital world, isn't it cool?" Because there's like the Hero's in his room, in his dorm room, and there's like grass everywhere and stuff, like digital grass, and the Hero's like, "What the fuck is happening right now?"
An actual response would have been, "You prick!"
Yeah, basically. And his dad's like, "Oh yeah, the digital world's so cool, isn't it?" And it's like, "Oh, hey, here's Gammon. He's gonna be your little brother. Take care of him." And then you got this shit little head Digimon come up. He's like, "Yeah, I'm your brother. Protect me." I mean, there were aspects about it that it's like, okay, it's just trademark Digimon stuff, right?
Yeah.
But the horror aspect, I'm curious how much it's going to evolve from there, because that is how the show is teased in its description, is horror genre. So I mean, it was okay. It just didn't brutally stick with me. I mean, I'll try episode 2. We'll see how it goes, but I'm not like in love with it. And I kind of feel the same way with Muv Luv Alternative. This is one where I was like, okay, it could be good. And it still could be. I don't know. I did kind of read a little bit more about this series, where it's like, because I know you mentioned to me that there's a lot more about it, a lot more series, and there is. Apparently, I think this all comes from a video game series, actually.
Yes.
Yeah, I did read that. It all comes from like a video game series, books or whatever, blah blah. So with this first episode, I will say, give some credit to this episode. If you're like me and you go into Muv Luv Alternative completely blind, with no backstory, no idea what's going to happen or anything, no idea, I guess, the world or anything, whatever, you may be in for a treat. Because I feel like I kind of was, because like the first half of the episode, I will say, was boring as fuck. I was like, it was boring to the point where I'm barely paying attention. I'm playing on my phone a little bit, kind of looking up. I was bored shitless. But once once they're called the beta, but giant like alien looking weird creatures, whatever, that it's basically invaded the whole planet and almost wiped out all of humanity. Once they begin to invade this area in Japan that they're in, to try to create another nest for them, so they can just keep creating whatever and doing their thing and take over the world. It's like, they're all gearing up for battle, getting in their mechs and stuff. And I'm like, okay, let's see some action. Let's see what this show can bring for us in the action category. All right, let's get it. I mean, it was all right. It was kind of going, it's like, all right, yeah, I mean, this is all right, I guess. I mean, it's not bad. And then all shit broke loose. And that's where I got kind of caught off guard, because this is episode 1. Naturally, you were just going to think, okay, yeah, they're going to drive off this army. No big deal. You're going to get to see some really cool action, maybe get like a teaser of like, oh, more shit's to come. Maybe someone gets hurt or killed or whatever, blah, blah. No, basically everyone fucking dies. Like everyone fucking dies, except for like one chick. And there's a single survivor. And it's like the whole episode, as it's continued to go, I'm like, oh, surely not. Surely, I mean, these people they're going to be okay, right? Nope. No one ends up okay. So as things kind of go on, like there's one like male character who I presumed was going to be like one of our protagonists. That's who I presumed he was going to be. Sure enough, I thought he was going to be fine. Nope, he dies brutally. Fucking brutally. Like I legit thought that he was going to be one of our protagonists, along with like this purple haired girl that I don't know her name. Again, this episode did not really stick with me horribly, so I don't really keep track of their names here. He is fighting off one of the giant ones. I forgot their name, like a Fort class, I think. Yeah, Fort class is what they called them. Fighting off one of them, and they shot the joints and stuff, and they more or less kill it. And he's already kind of damaged a little bit, like his mech's damaged and stuff. He's kind of hurt. And it falls on him. Like, the giant fort, it just falls on him up against the wall. Think of like Attack on Titan walls. Like they have these walls protecting the inner city and stuff, and kind of crush him. Everyone presumes he's dead. They're calling his number. A6, are you there? You there? He's not responding. Then a few minutes later, it shoots to him within the mech, and he's really hurt and damaged, and he can hear like the broken up radio signal of them calling for him and stuff. And someone's like, hey, non, he's not responding. He's dead. Move on. And he's just like, he's trying to respond. It's not working. And then you see like the mech kind of like start to open up a little bit. You see light. It's like, oh, maybe someone's saving him. Okay, cool. He's going to be saved. Nope. What happens? Like the blood from the Fort class, I guess, kind of seeped through, and the blood's like acid. So he just basically got acid poured on top of him, and it fucking kills him. Cool. And like you even get a shot of his arm where like you see like part of his arm just like got, just like a chunk out of it. I'm just like, what the fuck is happening in this show? And then the rest of the episode, same thing. Everyone started dying. Everyone, like random civilians. You see soldiers trying to fight off these things as they're invading like the main city. You have a bunch of civilians all inside of a really strong fortified bunker. You see a fucking soldier get his head ripped off, and I'm like, oh my God, okay. You see all the civilians in there. They're beating on the door, and it's just like someone's gonna come save them, right? Like. Surely. I mean, that's what would normally make sense. No, they break the door and they murder every civilian in there brutally. And I'm like, oh my God.
This is how the series gets you. It starts off boring, like, yeah, they're never going to see it coming. They're never going to see it coming.
And then it all went downhill. I mean, like the second half brought me back in. All right. Where the second half brought me back in to the point, it's like, okay, let's watch episode 2. Let's see what happens from here, because this is wild to me. All right. Like you see like the captain, she tries fighting him off, whatever. She, the purple haired girl, she gets dismissed, from her active duty per captain. This is the captain's way of saying, hey, fucking get out of here and live. They are overrunning Japan. Japan is literally about to fall. And you see the captain with one arm left in her mech just kind of fighting them all off, and then she just gets overrun by a giant fucking army of them. Dude, this episode really brought the feeling of despair in that second half. So I will give it massive credit for that, and I will watch episode 2. But other than that first half bored the absolute hell out of me, and overall, nothing extremely stuck with me except for the despair feeling. So I'll give them massive credit for that. Big credit on that end. Where do we want to go from here? I don't care. You pick.
All right, let's roll with 86.
86.
So 86, yeah. It's a whole fun thing. Bingo. Still continuing our split narratives. Start with major waifu who's now been demoted to captain waifu.
Still a waifu though.
Yep. She's now just walks over everybody pretty much.
Cold-blooded.
Didn't explain the whole streak in her hair, but she now has a red streak in her hair. She wears a black uniform at all times.
Yep.
She uses her role as being the top handler to more or less the lieutenant who was being a dick to her last season. More or less tell him to go F yourself. I'm your top handler. You're going to let me do what I want. If you want your damn promotion, fuck off.
Yeah. And keep in mind, that's her uncle. That's her uncle. And I fucking loved that line because he's sitting there bitching about her, about all the shit that she's been doing and stuff, you know, where it's like, you know, basically helping the 86, whatever. And she says the line because he's just like, you're just a captain. Know your place. And she's like, are you sure you want me to know my place? I'm the top handler. You know, results kind of reflect if you're going to get a promotion. You know, if my kill count goes down, could hurt you, couldn't it? And he's just like, God. I was just like, damn, let's go, Lena. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, so in the time that's apparently taken place from the ending of the first season, Lena's apparently just gone full ape shit.
Yeah, just really just kind of cold-blooded. And when it comes to the streak in her hair, it will explain it, and it already referenced it in this episode, and I've already mentioned it on this show before, so I'll go ahead and say it. It represents her nickname, the Bloodstained Queen. Is, you know, that's why you know, her new captain, which I think did they say the captain's name? I know it's Cyclops, but did they say that? I don't remember.
Yeah, they said it was Cyclops and even said her actual name at one point.
Okay. When
they were having the debrief.
Yeah, well, that's why Cyclops kept calling her my queen or whatever. I mean, that's what her nickname has become, is Bloodstained Queen, and the red streak is just to represent the lost members of the 86. That's all it's meant to represent. I mean, I've said that before on the show, so I don't feel terrible saying that because I have said that in the past. But yeah, hadn't referenced that yet. Once we kind of get through with the first split perspective, whatever, showing the stuff where kind of Lena's at and stuff, you get a little introduction to Cyclops and her squad. And when it comes to Cyclops and her squad, you'll get a couple more introductions to come, but I feel like this was kind of the main part, because from here we're going to really focus over to Shin and his crew, where you do get to see that Shin and his crew did survive, where it does kind of kick off with, you know, have Shin almost have like a dream sequence of his brother, which I thought was very well done, you know, where his brother's just like, hey, you need to go on without me now, you know, because Shin was kind of the impression that he was, you know, dead. Yeah. You know, so, you know, I thought this shot was very well done. And then, you know, when he just wakes up in a completely white room, like, where the fuck am I? You know, that's when you kind of get introduced to a couple other characters that, you know, are just like, oh shit, you know, hey, you're alive, whatever. Yeah, that's when you finally get introduced to Ernest Zimmerman. He does show off that everyone else is alive. They're all kind of behind the glass, you know, kind of just all vibing, all worried about Shin, all kind of threaten Shin. You better not fucking do that again. One thing about Ernest is he's just an old guy. Yep. Who's apparently the president of the Confederacy of Geo. Is that how you say it? Jihad. Jihad. That's what I'm assuming. Jihad Empire. Okay. That's me making an assumption. And he's just sort of rolls in. Everyone's telling him no. He walks in. He's like, "Hey, how you doing? What's your name?" Oh, it's sort of rude. Just flips off his suit. It's like, "Stop." Hey, how's it going, dude? Yeah, Ernest is cool, dude. Ernest is a chill dude. That was kind of what we saw throughout the whole episode, is that he was just a really chill guy. Other than when he was talking to his generals, and he apparently has a weird fetish for an ideal country. That's true. That's true. He really wants to deliver the idea that their country is just completely perfect in every way. And as the episode kind of went on, and like, you know, he's riding with the remaining members of the Spearhead, and they're kind of just going through the city. You know, you see how normal it looks, you know, especially compared to what we just came from. You know, it just looks very normal. It looks like something that we're used to, you know, IRL. You know, you also get to see the little tease of where everyone is just like trying to fight for the 86. It's like the 86 was done wrong, whatever. Fuck them, you know, because their story is reaching out to the public, is, you know, about what happened to the Spearhead Squadron. That's why you saw that little rally in the background, which, you know, nice little touch. Ernest then does adopt everyone. You know, he brings them home and says, "Oh, you're all going to be my children now. Welcome home." And you get introduced to Frederica. Going to be a very entertaining character. I'm a big fan of Frederica. It is sort of entertaining. One thing I didn't like about this episode was the whole dream sequence with Shin was sort of a nice little passing of, I feel like, personality, because you definitely see a different personality in Shin now after all that. Yeah. Especially when he meets Frederica for the first time, and she's just like, "Are you messing with me?" Yeah. And then when they're in the little room talking and everything, and
Ernest is explaining things. She comes over there, starts going on all high. And, well, I like when they first enter the door, she's got a spotlight and a desk set up at the front door to act all
menacing,
lording and menacing to them about calling them peasants and all stuff. She's at this high standard. And she does it again when they're in just a tea room or something. And saying how they all need to love her because they're her new little sister, and Shin just grabs her.
Yeah, and just starts messing with her hair. Yeah. So, and you're right. That is, that's a good way to talk. Reference it is that it's like a passing in personality. It really was from his brother to him, because you just really start in one single episode. You saw almost like a completely different Shin.
Yes,
and it's going to continue to grow, which is going to be awesome to watch as time goes on. The episode had one really nice tease involving Frederica, where Frederica is referenced as the Empress. So that was a very nice tease there for some info to come. And then Ernest does give Shin his brother's Juggernaut crest, which was ended up being recovered. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of where the episode ended, I believe, right?
Yes. And the only other best thing is in the opening, apparently Fido's going to come back to life.
Bingo. Looking forward to that.
Because it was just the best thing for the opening. The opening was good overall, but the best thing I got it from was with Fido with Frederica on top of him. Was like, Fido!
My friend, you're back! Yeah, dude. First, I do want to say that opening is fire. I really enjoy that, because when it comes to season 1 of 86, it was absolutely flawless to me, except for the opening. I thought the opening was dog shit. Mm-hmm. I absolutely hated the opening in 86 season 1, but every other song they had was fantastic. Yes. I loved both the endings, and I loved the song that was played in like episode 2 in the fight versus the shepherd. I can't remember the name now. But all those songs were fantastic. Yeah. The opening was crap. Yeah. I wasn't a fan, but this opening is great. And I love the animation throughout the opening as well. I love the transitioning animation of the spearhead where it's like as it's closing on their eyes, whatever. Mm-hmm. That was really cool. I will say the opening, man, it does so much like incredible foreshadowing. I am so here for this season, dude. This is going to be absolutely fantastic. And if I remember correctly, could be wrong, I think the season will actually be 12 episodes. It won't be 11. I think it will be 12 this time. Yeah, because last time was 11 with the 12th being a recap. This one will actually be 12.
Gotcha.
So, man, love 86. If you have not watched it yet, please go do so. Where do we want to go from here, bud? You want to go over to your musical anime?
Sure.
All right.
I don't know why you did it like that, but okay. I was like, I didn't know we were going high society. But no, the series we're referencing is Takt Destiny. That started this week.
Yep.
Which is a series. It's sort of, I guess it's post-apocalyptic-esque, because apparently it starts off with a whole recap of the world. It's just like a bunch of glowing stones fell from the earth. It had power. We studied it. Then more stones came from the earth with a bunch of aliens that fucked us up. And yeah, the aliens sort of just fucked everything up, and on the brink of destruction, Muse Arts appeared, which it doesn't throughout this first episode, it doesn't fully explain what the heck Muse Arts are, other than, I guess, people or android-esque people.
Right, yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
Who are able to fight the aliens, which are called D2 at the time being.
Yep.
At this point, don't know if there's any other, well, I guess there is one other classification, because towards the end they fight something else, which they call like a chrysalis or something. I don't remember. I didn't write it down in the notes you asked for. I just remember it was like some weird bug thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we get introduced to a world where people are sort of just living in small little community towns, and music is banned.
RIP.
It's just completely banned because
it's a sad world.
Yeah, because the D2 are apparently very sensitive to sound, and that's why they destroyed everything, but very specifically music.
Yep.
Because it's too good for them. And because it starts off with a whole sequence of some kid finding a piano, which I thought that was a very interesting shot of just that piano underneath that, I guess I don't really, but building pretty much, and it's just roped off, and I just like that on the side was "Play Me Someday."
Yeah, I saw that too.
So yeah, we get introduced to our MC Takt, and
Takt. I don't know.
Takt. Plays piano, calls the D2. Blonde chick shows up.
Yep.
Rex just punches it right in the face. You know, when she just punched in the face, I was like, why do you need to transform? It looks like you can 1v1 this thing.
Right, yeah. And I also want to point out when it comes to the transforming, like, how much was it actually explained in this episode about how powers work? Because like I was very confused by that. Because his arm gets sacrificed, and she gets like all like she turns and like has like a rose outfit almost, whatever. It's just like okay.
It didn't really explain. The only thing it really referenced, which it didn't even explain it, was that he shares his life force of some sort with her.
Corset.
With Corset.
Yeah.
And whenever she transforms to allow her to fight, and she also uses a lot of nutrients and energy whenever she fights. So they have some sort of link whenever they do that.
Yeah.
But it doesn't fully address what exactly all that entails.
And when it comes to link, I feel like some other ways to kind of think about that link where you can kind of understand what we're talking about is maybe think of like something like a Soul Eater type of situation.
Or I would reference it more in this case like a Fate Stay Night.
Now that one I don't know, so let's go with what he said.
Yeah, because more or less how it's been, at least at this time, referenced, it's sort of almost like him being a summoner and her being, I forget what they're called at the moment.
She's just the one that kicks ass. That's the bottom line.
Yeah, and it's a whole thing. He loses his arm. He gains a conductor's wand.
It says, "Let the show begin."
Yes, and then she grants a sword that can turn into a railgun. Which
is really cool.
Yes. And the characters themselves, Takt cares nothing about anything but music. He wants to play and hear music. Everything else can go die.
Basically.
That's literally his whole motivations. Corset's motivation is just to acquire nutrients and, I guess, kill the D2. Because throughout this entire episode, if she wasn't fighting, she was eating sweets.
Yes, which I thought was absolutely hysterical.
And then we have our third character, Anne, who's their big sister, who neither of them even bother listening to.
Basically.
She just drives the vehicle and tries to keep on track, and the two of them are just sort of just...
What do you want?
Which was a very entertaining aspect between the three of them. Because I did enjoy when it first showed Corset eating. It's just like, that's all the snacks they had, Corset. And she only has one box and looks down into the back seat, and there's like 10 boxes already down there. She's a freaking human dumpster.
Yes, yes.
But overall, it was good. I enjoyed the music and everything.
Which we were hoping we would.
Yes. It was all classical music and everything, which I've enjoyed and whatnot, and all of it was used very well for the fights and everything. But overall, it was a good opening episode, just introducing us to the characters, sort of the world. It is sort of interesting that it is taking place in the West.
Yeah.
So I'm curious how that's going to go, where that's going to lead to. And their whole goal right at the moment is to get to New York, to join the Symphonia.
Symphonia, yeah.
Which I guess is a big headquarters for music arts.
Yeah,
or something.
Didn't really go into that too much. I will say I want to shout out one thing from this episode that I absolutely loved was whenever they were all in the gas station restaurant, whatever, and Corset, detected some D2s off in the distance, and Takt's just like, all right, whatever, go. Gives her the power, and she just busts out the building. And Anna's like, no, Corset, you got to stop breaking windows. Come back. And then it's like when she ends up going to or whatever, Corset just like completely got her ass kicked, whatever. They go back to the restaurant, and then Corset gives a breakdown of what happened.
And little animation.
Yes, it's like old school like cartoon animation you would see like back in like the 50s or something, explaining step by step of what happened. And she's like, and then I realized there was too many and there was no hope. I really enjoyed that part. That part really made me laugh.
Yeah, the character interactions were done very good because, like you were saying, in that diner scene, and just him going, so if we kill him, I can play this jukebox. Corset, yeah. She's done eating. She's all ready to go. And it's just you see Anne's eyes go, no! Because she knew exactly what was about to happen.
Right. I mean, you're right, though. It was an absolutely phenomenal opening episode, I thought. I personally really enjoyed it. I feel like I enjoyed it more than I thought I was. Going into this, I was just like, okay, Madhouse, Mappa, let's see what they got going on. It's going to be beautifully animated. It's a music anime, so it's going to have a banger soundtrack, and that's kind of what brought me in. But the interactions was by far my favorite part. Corset is fantastic. I love Corset because like she's got like such like almost like a dull android personality, yes. And just the shit that she does, like when she explained how she got her ass kicked, absolutely killed me. I thought that was hysterical.
I did enjoy the end whenever they're driving away after finishing off the D2 in that sort of oil refinery place, and she's just in the back seat with the donuts like, who would put a hole here in this travesty of removing nutrients?
Right. Yeah, the donut hole.
Yeah.
That was fantastic, dude. Overall, very good first episode that we definitely recommend. I think both of us can say we recommend giving it a watch. I don't know the episode count on it, though. I'd have to go check on that.
Yeah, I would have to check on it, too.
I don't remember. I guess I can go over to Platinum Inn. You didn't get a chance to watch this. So I'll talk about Platinum Inn, then we're going to get to some of our rocks with Dragon Quest and the finale for Eden Zero. Platinum Inn Episode 1. This is one that I had a lot of high hopes for coming into. Okay, this is from the creators of Death Note, not Tokyo Ghoul. I said on AniMan Plus Episode 1, I accidentally said Tokyo Ghoul.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, my fault. Whatever. Terrible show. That's what happens. But yeah,
wrong show.
Yeah, wrong show. I channel that energy across all shows, though. Let's go ahead and just settle that now. But yeah, by the creators of Death Note, and man, this first episode delivered in a lot of ways. Like, I'm immediately hooked. I am so ready for the next 23 episodes because this will be a 24 episode banger. And this is going to be an absolute banger throughout this entire season, no doubt. So basically the way it sets up is it sets up with our main character, Mirai, where it just kind of shows how he just kind of hates his life. Like it really delivers that point very quickly, where everyone else is like, oh, let's go do this. Let's go do this. At our spring break, whatever. It's like, let's go do all these awesome things. And he's just kind of sitting there alone by himself. And you see a shot of him in the gas station where he's like about to steal like a honey bun or something. And he's just like, he puts it back, kind of leaves, whatever. And then the first time this character talks, I do want to give a very special shout out to the first time that I ever read Undead Unluck and reviewed it here on this show. And the very first lines of Undead Unluck reminded me of a good friend of ours, Diaz. Same thing happened here. This guy goes up on top of a building.
Yes, I know exactly what you're about to say.
And he just stands on the edge of a building. He says, all right, time to die. I'm just like, oh my God. It's like the DS thing all over again with the first page of Undead Unluck, where she finishes a manga. She's like, oh, that was fantastic. Now it's time to kill myself. And I was like, okay, that escalated very quickly.
And just for a reference, our buddy Diaz, who's been on AniMan, he was on AniMan 50, he likes to joke whenever he walks into an awkward situation where we're doing something stupid. He just, to get out of it, he's just like, I guess I'll just kill myself after seeing this travesty. Yeah,
basically. So anyway, he gets up there. He's just like, well, time to die. And he talks about how he just wanted to be happy and just how his life is miserable and his life's not going to go anywhere, get any better. And he ends up jumping. You do hear the sound of what would have been him hitting the ground. So you're just like, okay, does he die and come back sort of situation? Because we know angels and gods are involved, whatever, just from the general, synopsis of the show. So even though they do imitate, he hit the ground, goes black, you hear the sound. Next thing you know, he kind of just wakes up and he's just flying in the air and angels holding him. Where she's like, and he's assuming he's dead. He's like, oh, it's an angel? Oh, well, guess I'm going to heaven. That's good, I guess. I mean, that's cool. At least I got something going for me. And then she's like, oh, no, you're not dead. Here, look down. And he's like, she's kind of carrying him around and stuff. He looks in a reflection and he's just floating. Can't see the angel. He's like, is this reality? What the hell is happening right now? Am I on a bad acid trip or something? And, she kind of brings him to land, starts talking to him, whatever. She's like, I mean, you said you wanted to be happy. He's like, no, I didn't say that. She's like, no, you definitely said that. You said you wanted to be happy. And she's like, I'm here. I'm your angel. I'm here to, make your life better. I'm here to, grant you happiness, whatever, give you hope to live. And, and he kind of goes into his backstory where, he was raised by his aunt and uncle, uncle by marriage. It's actual aunt though, and how they were just horrible to him. Think of Harry Potter level kind of horrible with the people that raised him, but times 10. Gotcha. They're just horrible to him, and he gets beat up by their kids and stuff, and they don't do anything about it. He lives in a fucking closet. Think of Harry Potter here. He gets the step uncle, whatever, puts out a cigarette on his arm and stuff. It shows that his life's miserable. It talks about how his parents died when he was young, and that's when he got stuck in the situations where he was raised by them and his life's miserable, whatever. And she basically kind of, the angel kind of grants him here, I can give you one of two things. This is the hope that I can give you. I can either give you angel wings, or I can give you this red arrow that makes someone instantly completely fall in love with you when you shoot them with it. Because he's just like, I just want to be, I want to have, he's like, I don't have family. I don't have friends. I'm all alone, whatever.
It honestly, to me, just sounds like the angel came down because they lost Cupid and they were needing a new Cupid.
Maybe they need a new something. We'll talk about that here in a minute. So, him just being like, still thinking this whole thing's just kind of bullshit. He's just like, give me both. And she's just like, okay. And he's like, wait, I can get both? She's like, yeah, I was just going by the script, but yeah, you can get both. I'm here to bring you hope. So yeah, if you want both, you can have both. So she gives him the wings, she gives him the arrow, and how it shows is like a red circle like around his neck, red circles around his hand, whatever. But other people can't see it, and it just summons as needed. And she's like, here, try to fly. He's just like, he's like, I'm trying to fly. He's like, what do I say? Just like, wings come forth. And it's like giant wings sprout out of his back. He's like, holy crap, these are massive. And she's like, oh, don't worry. They don't hit anything. And you can fly faster than anyone. You can pretty much steal anything you want. No one's going to stop you. No one can see you how fast you are. And he makes a point out where he's just like, with you sitting here telling me that I can like steal anything I want, it's like, it doesn't really sound like something an angel would say. It almost sounds like a devil. She's like, oh, silly, devils don't exist. Devils are only in people's hearts. It's like, okay, well, that's kind of weird, but all right. Because she also talks about how like the red arrow, like when someone basically completely falls in love with them, they'll pretty much do whatever you want. It's almost like mind control. And that's where he's just like, you're telling me I can mind control people. You're telling me I can fly so fast I can steal whatever I want. It's kind of fucked up, but okay, I'm going to go with it. And he ends up flying, whatever, and just getting to experience flight. Shout out to a very beautiful shot of where he comes up on top of a tower. Like almost like an Eiffel Tower type of, thin one, whatever. And, his wings are out, whatever. And it's just a shot of like the night city. Beautiful shot. Wallpaper worthy, 100%. Looks fantastic. And he's just like, and throughout this flight, he's like kind of like opening back up for life, where he's just like, okay, this, like, he starts crying while flying. He's like, why am I crying right now? Like, he's like almost like trying to get some hope to live again, where it's like kind of getting there. Once the flight's kind of done, he's just, she's like, oh, wasn't it great? Wasn't it great? He's like, and she's like, wasn't it amazing? He's like, yeah, it was pretty cool. Basically, because he's horribly depressed. He don't want to just openly say, oh yeah, that was the best thing ever. He's still fighting through his emotions, and he starts talking about his life again with his family and stuff. And she just stone cold and just hits him with it, straight fucking face. It's like, oh, your parents, your parents and your little brother, they were murdered by your aunt and uncle. And he's like, what? She's like, yeah, they murdered them. It's like, no, they didn't. She's like, I've been watching you for a long time. You're like, yeah, they murdered your family. It's like, I don't believe you. He's like, oh, if you don't believe me, you have the red arrow. Go use it on one of them. They'll tell you. Because, they'll fall in love with you. You can just hit them with that. They'll fall in love with you, and, just ask them. And he's just like, no, they didn't. She's like, they stone cold, they murdered your parents. Like, that's what happened. So he goes back home. The auntie's there. She's being a massive bitch. He shoots her with the arrow. And, keep in mind, this is his actual aunt. This was like this was his dad's sister. Yeah. So this is his actual aunt. Like, when we say like, they'll fall in love with you. No, stone cold. That's what happens. Cause she gets up on him. She's like, my husband, whatever. It's like she's about to fuck him. I'm like, all right. So they weren't kidding about the in love part. And he stone cold asked her, he's like, did you and what's his face murder my parents? And she's like, starts freaking out. She's like, I didn't want to. He pressured me into it and stuff. So then he starts having a mental breakdown that the whole thing's true. This fat fuck comes out, and he's just like, oh, God, what? Why is everyone yelling? Shut the fuck up. And, that's when she's like, starts trying to beat him up about the situation. Like, yeah, it's all his fault. He did it. He's like, stop fucking saying this. You don't say it to the boy, whatever. And then, the angel, which still haven't got her name yet. The angel talks, said that, what happened was, and I actually know it was the aunt. I apologize. It was the aunt was saying that the whole thing was set up because if they would have murdered his parents, they would have got a huge insurance sum of money is what happened. So then then Mirai basically gets fucking pissed where he's like, they did this whole thing for money. And he's sitting there thinking to himself, he's like, you two should have died. You two should have died. It's like, not my parents. You two should have died. And because of the whole in love thing, she will do anything for him. She's madly in love with him. The aunt stabs herself in the throat and kills herself. Because and the way that the angel explained is like, if someone has done something where death is like an appropriate response, if you tell them you should die, they'll go kill themselves for you because of how much they're in love with you. And then he just kind of starts, it plays through his head like the events that's taking place and stuff with his parents, where you get to see the last moments where he's a kid and his parents were getting in the car there with his little brother and stuff. And, they start the car and the car explodes because that's what happened. They rigged the car to murder them just to get insurance money. And then, once he kind of like figures out this whole situation with his parents, and he's remembering like some like locked away core memories of his mom, where his mom was like talking to him, was like, hey, make sure to try to live a good life, you know, be happy, you know, follow happiness, pursue happiness. He starts remembering that it's just like, my family's gone, and I've basically sat in a pit of despair and depression my entire life, and I haven't moved on. I haven't tried to pursue happiness. And that at that moment, he's just like, I want to live. I want to live. I want to be happy. I want to try to pursue happiness. And then that, you know, that's when the angel's just like, you know, all right, I'm your guardian angel. Let's get it. You know, we're gonna, you know, be happy together. Fast forward a few days, he's not doing anything different. You know, he's still poor as fuck, and he's just like, yeah, I know I can go like rob people and get away with it, whatever, but that's not gonna bring me happiness, because at the end of the day, I'm stealing. That's a bad thing to do. And that's when she drops the bombshell on him that she forgot about. She's like, oh yeah, I forgot to tell you this. I was too focused on trying to make you happy. Yeah, we're trying to find a new god, and you're one of the candidates. So that's where it kind of gives you like some future diary kind of vibes there. Yeah. Where she talked about how there's 13 candidates on Earth that are also set up to be God, and it's basically kind of, it's just more like a competition of some sort. I'm forgetting, my fault. For who's going to be the next god. So she's like, these other people, they also have guardian angels, so you're going to encounter them at some point. At this moment, she also introduces him to the white arrow, which can basically insta-kill someone, but it's a peaceful death. They don't like brutally die. It's just like someone peacefully passing, but it's 100% accuracy, 100% kill rate. Like, it's, if you get hit with it, you're going to die, period, but it's a peaceful death. You know, and then you get some brief teases of a couple other people who have like angels and stuff. One of them gets hit with a white arrow, because he even points out, oh shit, you have a white arrow, and he gets shot. It's like a dude in like mech armor or something. like some sort of like kick-ass armor breaks into a car with this guy's with a bunch of chicks. He's like, oh fuck, that's a white arrow, and gets shot and killed. So you're already getting a setup for another, I guess, antagonist to come or whatever, one of the other candidates. And the episode kind of comes to a close there. I thought this episode was very well done, because I loved the approach with how much mental health was off focus for this episode. Yeah. I loved that. Like, I'm immediately hooked on this, and I'm so curious of what's going to come, because even like you hear like the pro tag talking, where it's just like, you know, I have, you know, at that moment I had no idea what I was going to get myself into, whatever, of the outrageous battles to come, is the way that he put it. But I mean, I thought this episode was phenomenal. I thought it was a great first episode. Gave you a lot of introduction to a lot of different things. Love our angel. I'm drawing a blank on her name right now, and that's killing me. I think it starts with an N. I feel terrible that I'm forgetting it. But I love her. She is absolutely just like, her personality is hilarious to me, because it's just like how overly positive and just like a positive blunt she is. Love that. This is definitely worth a watch. Definitely worth a watch. I can't wait to hear your thoughts on it whenever you get a chance to sit down and watch it. Okay.
I mean, I figured it would be good, because it is about the Death Note creator. I always knew that when it was still serialization, a lot of people were hyping it up and stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, I guess we can go over to your meme. You want to go over to your meme, or do we want to wrap up Eden Zero officially?
I mean, I can do one of my memes.
All right. I'll try it. Yeah, I keep forgetting it's on the script. You got two memes. What you pick your meme.
I'm going to go with Yashahime, because this one won't take terribly long. Okay. So the one thing I will give Yashahime props for is the first episode of the season literally picks up from where the last episode of season 1 left off, with Toa in the rain looking at Setsuna's dead body. It just picks up straight. Well, once it gets to the actual episode, it picks up from that. The first 7 minutes of the episode is just a recap of season 1. Is all it is. They decided that it's been long enough that not enough people cared. So here's a whole recap of season 1 of actual main points of season 1, not all the bullshit filler.
Right. Which was most of the season.
Yes. So then it just picks up with Toa holding the Tetsaiga, with Shishomaru chilling nearby, just going, Toa, use the blade. If you want to save her, use the blade. Shishomaru just chills the entire time.
Right, real quick, she was holding which sword? Because the Tetsaiga, that's Inuyasha's, right? I can't remember. I think Tetsaiga's Inuyasha's. So
maybe it is.
So she was holding Shishomaru's. I can't remember. I can't remember the name of it though. Yeah, Shishomaru's was the one where it could, like, bring the dead back.
Yeah,
yeah, that's Shishomaru's. I don't remember the name of the blade though. Tetsaiga, I think, is Inuyasha's.
Maybe you're right, because they have almost the exact same names.
Yeah, they do.
Tenseiga? No, that's not right.
No, Tenseiga might be it.
Doesn't sound right.
I don't know. You keep going. I'm gonna look it up.
Okay. But yeah, the whole thing is that the blade's broken because after Shishomaru last used it, it got broken by Zero through bullshit methods. So yeah, a portion of the episode is just Toa trying to use her demon energy to form a demon blade, use the Tetseiga, or yeah.
It is the Tenseiga.
Okay, the Tetseiga. And just, mostly it's her just standing there, trying to spirit energy the blade together, yelling Setsuna hundreds of times.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, just going, Setsuna! So the best part of this was my father was visiting me and always watched this, so he watched it with me, and and he even called, was like, how many times are you going to say her name? Damn. So that was one portion of the episode, was her just sitting there with a sword trying to give it energy, yelling Setsuna the entire episode. Moroha, she more or less just sits on the sidelines. Well, she's there just sort of as moral support. And I forget his name right now, but the old guy who made the Tetseiga and the Tetseiga shows up. He always rides around on the three-eyed bull with his hammer.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. He shows up because he felt the Tenseiga was broken, so he's like, who destroyed my blade, damn it?
Gosh, damn it, kids.
Shows up, and he first gets there, and Moroha, he gets there with Jockin. Jockin was riding with him, and they both show up, and Moroha's like, who are you? I'm the guy who made the Tetseiga and Tetseiga. She's like, oh, you're old man Totosai?
That sounds right.
Yeah. Totosai is like, yeah, show respect. Smacks her over the head with a hammer. Then she looks at Jockin and says, you're just some old demon. Jockin smacks her over the head with his staff. Moroha was here just for comedy relief.
Well, she is the best girl.
Because she gets smacked by Totosai, then she gets smacked by Jockin, then she says something else stupid, and then Totosai hit her again. So yeah, she's just there for moral support for the most part. He's chilling there. He's just like, Totosai is. He's just, she needs a better weapon. Noticing Setsuna's Naginata is broken, and he just decides, I'm gonna make a weapon here. Hey, Moroha, keep all the demons that are gonna show up off me. She's like, what? I'm about to make a blade. And she even addresses, is this the time for this? Like, I mean, what other time am I gonna do it?
There's always a good time to make a blade.
Yeah.
Get your shit together, Moroha.
So he sits down, starts making a new blade for the Naginata, and a bunch of demons show up. Moroha and Kira attempt to fight off the demons, which continues the whole aspect of Toa yelling Setsuna, finally being able to do a demon blade and having performance issues still, and finally being able to see the netherworld demons that were trying to take Setsuna's soul away. But at the last moment, she cuts the demons, brings Setsuna back to life, and the entire time Shishomaru's just chilling. He's just like, she'll either do it or my daughter's gonna die. Even when all the demons overrun Moroha and Kira, he still just chills and everything, and it has a nice little finish of them all surrounding Setsuna and Toa, and just right before it's all over, Totosai finishes the blade, windmills it at Setsuna, and she just comes out of it, and now she can control explosions.
What?
Yeah, no, like literally, Totosai finishes the blade, she's just like, Setsuna! Throws it, she opens her eyes, catches it, and does a nice spinning around, and just explosions.
Jesus Christ, this is a Fast and Furious movie?
Yes, because it happened, and I literally went, a new blade allows her to control explosions instead of wind? Fuck it. Okay,
whatever,
sure.
That makes sense.
And she wakes up acting like, oh, I died? Yes, bitch, you died. You got cut in half. Keep up with it. Your brain was still there. You said had a whole goodbye montage with Toa. Keep your shit together. Yeah, then Shishomaru shows emotion, and he caught Toa whenever she fell over after using all her demon energy to save Setsuna, sets her next to Setsuna, and sort of pieces out. But he shows some emotion because he caught Toa, and I immediately went, that's bullshit. Shishomaru would let her ass fall. And it even has a moment where Totosai's like, Shishomaru's more tolerant now. Oh, well. hey, girls, come and visit me when you get a chance. I'll make you some shit. And pieces out as well. I mean, overall, it was okay.
Was it better than the first season? That one episode?
Possibly.
Gives you a little hope?
Nope.
Okay.
Because, I mean, first season started off solid.
Oh, okay, that's fair. First season did start off really solid, and it went downhill.
Yeah.
What about your other meme?
My other meme of Dragon Quest.
Episode 51, one of the rocks of this show.
Oh, God. This was the fucking sacrifice episode. For whatever reason, every goddamn character involved in this episode felt like they had to sacrifice themselves. Like, seriously. Like, so Chu and his crew, to be able to find out how to get into the Hadlar's palace, they sacrificed themselves by going there, finding this was the previous episode also, but it was sort of the startup for this. To find the entrance, then to try and fight off one of the royal knights so they could get the information back to him, okay? Pop, Hunkle, and Crocodile show up, find them. It's like, oh no, they've been beaten up. We need to get them back and save them. Well, in the middle of this, they're just like, where's the person who was fighting them? And everything. And while that, Hunkle just suddenly goes, Pop, grab them and get them out of here. And Pop's super confused. He's just like, what? Why? Why am I doing this? And he's just like, just get them out of here. Sends Pop away with Chu and his horde of people. And know who walks out? Papa Barin.
Wait, Papa Barin?
Barin.
Okay.
Yeah, the Dragon Commander dude. Dai's father.
Oh, this fucking dude comes back.
Yeah, he strolls out from behind a rock and he just goes, Hunkle, you've gotten better. I thought I was hiding myself. And he's just like, no, we gonna throw down? He's just like, no, I'm not here to fight you. I'm here to fight Hadlar. And then it has a whole montage of them going, of Crocodile being like, we have the same goals. We should work together for Dai. And for whatever reason, when he says for Dai, that pisses Barin off and he punches the shit out of Crocodile.
Poor Crocodile.
He just punches the shit out of Crocodile and sees him flying and it's just like, how dare you say that? I would never do anything for humans. I may not be your enemy, but I'm still the humans' enemy. I'm gonna go fight the Dark King Vern myself. And walks off and Hunkle's just like, something's not right about this. Hunkle chases out to him. Barin, don't do this. You're just gonna sacrifice yourself for Dai so that Fern will be weakened. And Barin's just like, well, if you know that, why are you stopping me? And Hunkle has to go on a whole montage of, oh, I can't let that happen. The guy he got the dark spear armor from, I forget his name. It was like Landhard or something like that. He keeping his promise to him because he said, in his death, he told Hunkle, I leave both Barin and the young master, referencing Dai, to you. So Hunkle feels the need that he can't let either of them sacrifice themselves. So him and Barin proceed to stand off to fight each other. Hunkle to stop him from going and fighting so he doesn't die. And Barin beating Hunkle so he can continue strolling along to go fight the King Varn. Then it goes on a whole bullshit thing of a super counterattack. Hunkle disguises his entire aura just so he can take one hit to be able to do a major counterattack. And it works because the bigger attack they use, the more of an opening they leave, so he can then strike them with an attack. And apparently Barin can't counter this by just hitting him weakly because Barin's so strong that even his weakest attack would be a big enough opening for Hunkle to capitalize on. So they have a whole standoff. Crocodile Barin explains this. Then Crocodile explains this.
Lots of explaining.
Then there's even a reminiscence, flashback to when the fight between Hadlar and Avon, when Avon used it to fight Hadlar, to really hit home of what this is. And then the Royal Knights show up, the Pawn and Queen show up to interrupt the fight. And right as their Hunkle and Barin are about to strike each other, the Queen jumps in the way to attack them, which Hunkle then turns around, takes the hit from the Queen to counter and hit her, taking off a chunk of her right side, and takes the cut from Barin at the same time. We have a whole thing where he wounds Queen. She's just like, damn, he was tough, but we don't have to worry about him now. And then go to a random place where Barin and Crocodile is like, Crocodile's just, Barin, you saved me. what happened to Hyunkul? And Hyunkul's just there on the ground. He's just like, no, Hyunkul. He's not dead, you stupid alligator, but he won't ever fight again. And Baron's just like, he saved my life. Crocodile, what do I do to repay him? Go back to the town where Dai and everyone's just been chilling, healing people up and making plans. And Baron and Crocodile roll up when they're all deciding who's going to go with Dai to infiltrate the castle. And everyone's just like, well, I'll go with Dai. No, I'll go with Dai. And then Baron shows up and says, I'll roll with Dai.
We all roll with Dai.
And everyone, and Pop freaks out because it's Baron, and Dai looks up, Papa? And that's about it.
You have such a tortured life with this show. You really do.
But no, literally, I don't know what was up with the episode. Chu and his crew sacrificed himself. Then Baron had to go sacrifice himself. Then Hyunkul sacrificed himself. I was just like, what is this shit?
Jesus, dude.
The best part of this episode is I finally got my damn new opening.
Oh, is it finally here?
It's finally here.
Is it good?
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
No, it wasn't bad. Well, was it worth the wait?
I mean, yeah.
Okay, good. Good, because you've been stuck with the other one.
They could have done it a lot sooner, but hey.
50 episodes.
Yeah, just 50 episodes.
They could have done like 25 episodes sooner or something, but hey, whatever, here we are. Well, next up, I guess we'll finish off our Eden Zero talks for now. This is Eden Zero episode 25, the season finale for Eden Zero. Shiki and the Korona fight kind of came to a close there by using his so he's trying to dodge rockets the whole time throughout this that he cannot destroy.
Also, these rockets are bullshit.
These rockets are bullshit.
I don't know how you would make a rocket that doesn't explode on impact when it's going at that velocity, but somehow these rockets designate that's not my lock-on target. Don't explode.
Yeah, it's stupid because he tries like blast them into buildings and stuff, and they just come out fine and everything. And then he lands on Koronai's Dragoon bot, I think is what she called it. And the rockets are coming. She's like, "Oh, you fool! Those rockets don't damage the bot." He's just like, "Yeah, but I do." And he points out to a thing where he like hit it at one point, and then he starts using his gravity to catch one rocket after another. They start piling on, and it's just like putting so much force in the bot and just basically completely destroying it.
Yeah, he uses rockets to curb stomp her robot.
Yeah, exactly, which was pretty dope, honestly. Because I love the animation bit for his ether gear going all over his body, whatever. Super clean, super.
Which
clean.
was also a nice little reference that I noticed when I saw the entire ether.
Yeah,
it outlines actually his form for whenever he goes. That other mode.
Yep, exactly. Which I noticed that too, and I thought that was super clean. After that, the fights obviously come to a close, and he brings Korona to Homura as well as everyone else, and everyone's like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna beat the hell out of you now." And then Shiki's like, "Nah, let's let Homura decide what happens to her." And Homura basically doesn't like. She's like, "I don't really hold." Homura's just like, "Hey, I don't have any ill feelings towards you, but please stay out of my life." Do you recognize this? And her Korona, who's her mother, is just like, I don't know what that is. And it's like, oh, okay, so the one piece that we had that connected us, you don't remember, so that's severed as well. That's cool. And Homer is just like, I thank you for bringing me into this world. Other than that, stay out of my life, basically. Just tells her mother off short and to the point.
This whole thing happened. It was a whole thing of where people were against her, like, why should she decide? And people magically convinced them. And then after this whole thing where she goes on a whole thing, I don't care about you and whatnot, and sends her off, and people are smiling. I was just like, this whole thing was happening. I was like, there's at least a couple guys sitting in that group that are just like, this is bullshit.
Yeah, exactly. Homura ends up letting her go, but it just says, hey, stay out of my life. Don't ever come near me again, whatever. And then as, Korona is escaping, she's like, oh, what a naive daughter, whatever, blah, blah. And then she gets just whacked in the face.
Just straight up baseball bat by a group of thugs that apparently been living in the planet.
Yeah.
They're being led by the blonde dude whose face she burned.
Yep.
And honestly, she got a pretty bad end, and that was pretty dark.
It was very dark. It left it on a very dark note of what was going to happen to her.
Yeah, because it very much hints that they're just going to beat the living shit out of her, and possibly just because they literally call her that she's going to be their slave.
Yeah, so you can think about what's going to happen there. I mean, dude, it's a dark ending for her, but she's a bitch, so fuck her. I mean, we get that conclusion, and then when everyone is back on Eden Zero, they bring the news to Hermit, Witch, and Sister that, hey, Valkyrie's dead. Sister's just like, why didn't you bring the body back? I could have repaired her. I could have done this. Memories and everything, they're backed up on a cloud and stuff. And Witch is pointing out, yeah, but it wouldn't have been Valkyrie. She wouldn't have remembered those fond feelings with Homura, whatever, blah blah blah. And that's when Shiki, I love this moment where it's just like Sister's just like, Shiki, you're the one that makes the final call and everything, whatever. Blah, what do we do? And Shiki's like, there was a lot of words said that I don't know what they mean. I loved that bit. And then Shiki said, but what I do know is, this is what my grandfather told me once, that, bots, they also die like humans. And, it's just like, she's gone. She's dead. Leave it at that. And Homer kind of felt the same thing, where it's just like, she's gone, no kind of bringing her back. Everyone was trying to basically convince Sister at this point that she is gone. Just kind of, we got to move past it. Hermit kind of shows emotion here with this whole situation. And then, Homer stands up and says that she will become Valkyrie, part of the 4 shining stars. Because at this moment, hey, they're down a star. It's just like, and even Wise points out, it's like, can a human be one of the shining stars? And Herman's like, well, there's nothing in the rules about it, so I guess it's fine. no big deal.
Yeah, that was a sort of funny moment. It's just Wise going, can a non-android be a shining star? Herman and every one of those moments like, well, there's no rule against it.
Yes, I guess. And then, Sister takes a leave, Witch says, I'll go talk to her or whatever. And then we have a little moment. It's just like, oh, so you're just going to be called Valkyrie? She's like, oh, that's too much pressure. I don't want to be called Valkyrie. It's like, what about Valkyrie the second? What about Valkyrie Jr.? It's just like, I think it was Wise that points out, it's just like, that's not much different. Because they're trying to come up with a new name for her. And then, Hermit's just like, just let her be Homer. I mean, she does technically take up the mantle of Valkyrie. That's how it'll be for the rest of the series. But, it's just like, she'll just be Homer, period. I also like the shot of Moscow where he's like crying, and as someone's like, what, did you think it was going to be you? Did you think you were going to be with the next shining star? I enjoyed that bit. And then easily the best part of this episode was the bit with Sister and Witch. That was a very emotional moment for me.
Oh, when they had their moment? Yeah.
Yeah, because they were up on the like a viewing deck where, Valkyrie liked to be there. You could see all the stars and stuff, and Witch, Sister was, she's obviously hurting, but she's like, expressing it in like a really frustrated way. And when she turns to Witch, you see Witch crying from underneath her visor, and Witch is like, I really envy Hermit just being able to express her emotions whenever. And then Witch is just like, but it's just the two of us now, so why don't we open up here? And then Sister starts crying, and they just have a complete ball fest.
Yeah,
good way to end it. Very emotional moment there. And then Jesus Christ, holy shit, the preview.
Oh yeah, for the next season. Yeah,
so much spoilers, dude.
Yeah, no, like it has a whole thing with Yashahime that was added in of her going into explanations and stuff, and going like, we'll see you again real soon. And it goes next time, like showing a preview, and just shows shots that are going to happen in the second season. And just like, the shots themselves aren't really spoilers unless you know what it's the context for it. But it shows a lot of stuff that really makes you go, what?
Yeah, exactly. And in my opinion, they showed a lot.
Yeah, no, they definitely showed a lot.
Yes, there was a lot shown in that preview where I was watching. I'm like, oh fuck, oh, they're showing that. Oh, they're showing that too. I was like, oh shit.
So yeah, they are technically spoiler shots in a way, but without context, there's no. Yeah, you had no idea what it's technically spoiling. Bingo. But it foreshadows a lot for the next season if you've watched the episode already at this point. So yeah, it's a pretty intense season next season, everything involving Drac and Joe and Eden's.
I will say Eden Zero season 1, I mean, overall it was entertaining. I was entertained pretty much almost every episode.
Yeah.
But season 2 is going to be a banger.
Almost definitely.
Oh, it's going to be incredible. Like, season 1, the content that we had, it was really trademark shown and set up. I mean, that's really what it was. There was nothing that really blew you away. I mean, it was all like, okay, this is good. But season 2 though, you guys are in for a treat.
Yeah, and with all that previews also gives us a good idea of where it's going to start and where it's actually going to end too, with everything it showed.
Bingo. But good anime talk. Shout out to Eden Zero. A hell of a run. Rest in peace to the anime director, of course. T's and P's to everyone involved with that situation. Looking forward to when Eden Zero is going to come back, and looking forward also to adding Demon Slayer to our lineup here in a few days. You know, it kicks off on Sunday. And there was a couple other series that I was going to check out. I think there was another one that came out today, that's Sakugan, that came out today on the 7th. I'm going to watch that and probably give my thoughts on the first episode next week.
Okay.
We'll see if Muv Luv and Digimon keep me, though. We'll see.
No, I do want to shout out Restaurant from Another World. Good series. Good feel-good series. I'm not going to rate it on here because there's not a whole lot that really happens in it, but good series.
Okay, good to know. There are a couple other series that I may watch, you know, like the first episode 4 and see how it goes, but I still think that we have a hell of a fall season lined up.
Yes, most definitely.
Between 86, Demon Slayer, in my opinion, Platinum End, those three alone, I mean, I think we are really in for a hell of a season. Talk Dog Destiny is going to be another one, I think, as well. I'd say my favorite first episode was probably Platinum End. I loved Platinum End, man. That was really entertaining. I'm gonna fight not to read the manga. I really want to, since the manga is over and it ended within like 100 chapters. I would probably assume these 24 episodes will be the
More
series.
than likely.
So I want to experience it throughout this series. So I'm really pumped up for that.
My favorite first episode would have been episode 1 of season 2 of Restaurant from Another World.
Okay. Nice. All right, so let's hop over to manga chat. Do we want to break down P6? We're an hour and 10 in. You know, how are we feeling on that? Do you want to give a very brief synopsis?
Yeah, I'd say brief.
Okay. You want to do it or me?
I can do it.
All right, you do it.
All right, so P6 is a music piano-based series. We have a family of geniuses who all play the piano from their rich father, who's the top of the piano world, who beats one of his children, who performs. Well, actually, I don't know.
We're making an assumption on that one.
He shuns one of his children, who can't play the piano as well as his other siblings.
Steptuplets, right?
Yes.
Yep, steptuplets.
Yes, a dumb amount of children.
Yep.
So they all go be famous pianists with him, their father. The one who gets shunned goes with his mother, and more or less lives a mediocre life. His mother's in the hospital due to sickness and whatnot, and he gets an opportunity.
Having 7 kids at one time does that to you.
Yeah. Then he gets an opportunity to go to a music school and whatnot. He chooses to take it and everything.
With a Muzan-looking motherfucker.
Oh, yeah, I guess so, huh?
Every time I see him, I'm just like, is this Muzan from Demon Slayer? Who is this guy?
And he gets accepted because the Muzan-looking dude sees some talent in him. He's able to recreate a scene from reality through his weird playing of music.
Yeah.
Because everyone else hears his music going, God, that's awful.
Basically.
What is happening?
Yeah, basically.
At this one guy.
Nails on a chalkboard times 10.
Yeah. But there's one guy sees and go, that's not normal. Yep. I want that kid. And literally in the little thing, the test thing does where he has to play 3 pieces, all the other advisors like, no, kick that kid out. And he's just like, we are getting him. This kid needs to be here. And everyone's going, what's wrong with you? But somehow his one word is just like, yeah, okay, guess the kid's getting in. So yeah, no, we have that whole, his life, his mother being in the hospital and whatnot, her having sickness. He finds out his mother's dying.
Yep.
And things like that. So,
and when it comes to his mother's dying, she was more or less like, I'm not going to say she was. What did it actually say that she was in a coma or just sleeping a shit ton? She
was more or less sleeping a shit ton because the medication was on, was pretty much putting her in a medicated coma.
Okay. So yeah, that's what it was. And then she changed her medication for the sole reason to want to talk to Lucky. Lucky is our pro tag, the shunned kid. And that was her whole reason for changing her medication, was to talk to Lucky. And meanwhile, Lucky doesn't think anything of it at first, but then he hears the nurses talking about it, where it's just like, oh, I imagine she is in so much pain right now since she changed the medication. I mean, she has like a year to live, and she just changed medication to be awake more because she wanted to talk to Lucky. Because when it comes to this this entire situation of him being shunned, so basically when it comes to his successful siblings, the world knows this family, the Otogami, is the Otogami?
Yeah, okay. Otogami family.
The Otogami family as sextuplets, where there's only 6 of them.
Yeah.
And the 7th, this Lucky, he does not exist to the world. Like, they only know of the other 6. They're not steptuplets. Everyone else is successful, living their best life, except for him. And he's been kind of like given up being a pianist because of how bad he is. And, that was kind of why his mother also changed medicines, was to tell him, hey, be a pianist. Follow your dreams on that. I mean, 3 chapters in, it's okay.
It's okay.
It's not sticking with me. Is it sticking with you at all? Like, I mean, it's okay.
I mean, it's not sticking with me at the moment, but I'm still curious where it's going. Maybe we'll get something interesting because at the end of the 3rd chapter, it
teases one of the brothers.
Yeah, it teases one of the other siblings who's come back, who his teacher's more or less, if you want to carry on, you're going to have to face him.
Yeah. I mean, I mean, it's okay. I mean, it's very obviously heavy story focused. And I mean, it's all right. It's not sticking with me so far.
The only thing I can hope is because it's being so big on imagery, I can't wait to see a pedestal. They just have 2 images behind them.
Oh yeah,
like Titans or something.
Yes. That would actually be pretty cool. But I mean, overall, it's okay. I mean, if I had to rate the 3 chapters as a collective that I've read, like a 6.5, maybe.
I'd say 7, yeah.
Yeah, 6.5. I'm kind of flirting with the 7 because I felt like chapter 1 was overall pretty solid. I mean, you do kind of get hit in the feels where you really want to see Lucky succeed because he's so horribly shunned.
Yeah.
Where again, they're steptuplets, but the world only knows them as 6-tuplets, like as if he doesn't exist. So you want to see him succeed, kind of like a Naruto kind of vibe. But I mean, it's okay. I mean, I don't know if it's gonna last. I mean, we'll see. I could see this one being axed potentially. I'm not going to hammer and say it's going to be a hit. I don't think it's going to be a hit. I will say that, but I could be wrong. I've been wrong plenty of times before, so we'll fucking see, I guess.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we can get into our chapter ratings now. Let's hop over into that.
Yay!
Finish up the show. Kicking things off with One Piece 1027. I'd give this one an 8. Next up was My Hero Academia 328. I would give this one an 8 as well.
I'll give it an 8.
Black Clover and Dr. Stone both on breaks this past week. JJK 161, I'd give it an 8.
7.
Okay. Mission Yozakura Family, Chapter 100, give it that bad boy a 9. That was a hella good chapter.
What was the EX chapter?
It was just a little just fun chapter.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, it wasn't anything like over the top. It was a little fun chapter with like this little kid that like Taiyo and Mitsumi kind of like adopted in a way. And it's just a fun little feel good chapter.
Them just being a mother and father.
Yeah, basically, it was just a feel good chapter. But chapter 100 was dope because at this point, Taiyo is going to talk to Makoto, the leader of that Tempo organization, because he's currently in custody. But he's going to talk to him because of the first Yozakura leader is kind of like her spirit's like in Toyo basically, and she basically wants to die. She wants to move on, and and Makoto can help her with that. But
kill me, kid.
Basically, and she tells him, "Hey, you're going to need to go talk to him." And that was the whole reason why he went through the silver license training because of where Makoto's being held as a certain type of criminal. You have to have a certain spy license to go talk to people.
Gotcha.
But meanwhile, while he's talking to him, have a good time. This current generation of Yozakura siblings, their father, who is a bad guy, mind you, comes into the scene. And Toyo kind of like blasts, kind of jumps back and stuff, whatever. And he starts to say something, and mind you, all the other siblings, they're here but not in this room. They're outside the room. So it has a fucking awesome shot where he's trying to fight Toyo over there for a second, and then he's just like Toyo says, "Hey, I've got a lot of things that I would like to ask you as well. But right now, stay out of my way," because he's trying to talk to Makoto. And when he says that, you get an awesome full page ending shot of where all the siblings came into the room ready to throw down. And it's so cool. I mean, I'm ready for 101. I love this series, man. Love this series. Undead Unluck, Chapter 81. Giving this one a 9 as well. That ending was so fucking cool. Because with the ending, Andy got stopped because of Unmove, and his powers also got kind of like fucked up with Unchange as well. So Andy's sitting there looking at Billy, the antagonist in this certain situation. Andy's just like, well, I only see one way out of this because he can't move because of Unmove, obviously. So Andy, being undead, literally rips the skin off of himself, like just kind of forcefully pulls back, so you just see like his his skin, like a skin suit almost, like sitting there, and you just see flesh Andy like, oh, let's go, this hurts but let's go. Like, good ending, man. Love this chapter. I give it a 9. Mashal Chapter 80, I give it an 8. Sakamoto Days 41, 9. Good chapter.
This chapter was ridiculous.
It was good though. It was so good.
It was a 9 though. Yeah.
Elusive Samurai Chapter 34, I give it a 7.
I'll give it an 8.
Witch Watch Chapter 32, 6.
Yeah, 5.
It dropped so quick.
It had its moment. It's past, and now they're going back to the bullshit.
Yeah, basically. Blue Box Chapter 23.
I'll give it an 8.
I'll give it a 7. Red Hood Chapter 13. I'll give it a 6.
7.
Niru Chapter 12. I'll give it a 7.
I'll give it a 7 as well.
P6 Chapter 3. I gave it a 6.
I'll give it a 6.
Kaiju number 8, Chapter 44. Give it an 8.
I'll give it an 8.
Dan to Dan, Chapter 27. I'm giving that a 9. That really made me laugh. Tokyo Revengers 225. I'm going to give that one an 8.
Fucking 9.
It was a really good chapter.
It was.
Yeah. Eden 0162. Give that one an 8.
I slightly remember what happens. I'll say a 7.
To Your Eternity. Finally at 150. I'm tired of these point chapters, man. But 150, I'm going to give this one an 8.
I'll give it a 7.
7 Deadly Sins, 4 Nights of the Apocalypse, Chapter 34. Give that one an 8. Solo Leveling once again on a break because the creator's health, T's and P's. But the next chapter should, in fact, be out next week. Week Hero 158. I give that one an 8. Really pumped for the next chapter,
I'll give it a 9 because I really liked how that's set up.
Yeah, the setup was pretty dope. And LC.
I just love that last line of Wolf going, "Why do you think I locked the door?" Hanging up his glasses.
That was such a cool shot, dude.
I was like, that was just killer.
Yes, it was, dude. I loved it. I can't wait to see the tag team of Jake and Wolf.
See, I see it Jake going more of just Jake sort of chilling, like, what you doing? And Wolf going, beating people? What you doing?
And lastly, LC'd 132.
I'm going to give it a 9.
Okay. Favorite chapter of the week?
A Week Hero. Wolf's line fucking was killer.
That's fair. I'm going to go either Undead Unluck or Mission Yozakura Family. Both of those were just top notch this week. But that's going to wrap it up for this episode. Zach, any last thoughts on anything we talked about? Any of these series that you think people should go watch or anything?
I'd say give Talk Op Destiny to file out a couple episodes and check it out in tandem. 86, go watch that. It's good. It's only going to get better as long as what I got from Alex and the novels continues. Besides that, no. Just like, comment, subscribe, rate, whatever your platform allows. If you like what's going on YouTube, you can hit that subscribe button. If you really like what's going on, you can hit the notification bell and let you know when any of our podcasts goes up or any of our little short videos as well. Thank you.
Yep, and do everything that he said and more. Definitely check out 86, Talk Out Destiny, Platinum End. I definitely think those are worth a watch. And, even if you don't end up liking the series, I definitely think you should watch at least the first episode of Muv Luv Alternative, because I'm not kidding. It really did well at the despair feeling of just like how terrible things went down. But that's going to do it from us. Make sure to tune into all the other podcasts if you'd be so kind. Lighthearted Gamers, Terrible Football Show. We have talking about movies and stuff coming out soon. Yep, that's going to do it. Until next time, guys. Have a good one.
Bye.